Hello, this is Keith Haswell here. It's nice to have the opportunity to be able to speak with you about more on the subject of astrology. And it's suggested that you watch the previous videos that I've put out, because I've numbered them for your own convenience so that you can watch them in their right sequence, and each video builds up to gradually expanding concepts. So this is on the signs of the zodiac, and the signs of the zodiac are 12 in number, and they are a band of energies around the periphery of the Earth. The Earth is our field of play. It's a space-time rule set. So the whole thing is set in a way that will encourage experience for us to experiment and experience and express our consciousness in order to learn about the nature of reality and our place in that reality, and to learn the important fact that we are creating all of the events of our life. So this is the first of 5 videos that are based on the tenets of astrology, which start with signs and then planets and then houses and then aspects and then cycles. Now we'll take first of all the first house. Now Aries on the cusp of the first house. The first house is our personal self-initiated efforts. It's our physical appearance. Aries on the cusp of the first house will see you with a ruddy complexion, perhaps golden hair, and with an attitude of life of wanting to activate things and get things started. Taurus on the cusp of the first house will see you an attractive person, Venus ruled, with a love of the things of the earth. Plants and shrubs and the beauties of nature will naturally appeal to you. Gemini on the cusp of the first house will see you very adaptable and very variable, very changeable, very communicative. It's an air sign, and there's a lot of duality in the nature of the Gemini, so you'll feel at times as if there's 2 people in the one body. You'll have many different projects going all at the one time. Cancer on the cusp of the first house will see you very emotional in your approach and very imaginative in your approach to commencing and starting your projects and ideas. It'll see you very home-loving and very family-oriented, highly imaginative and adaptive, but with the ability to commence and start projects because it's a cardinal sign. Leo on the cusp of the first house will see you as a very proud person. You like to be the centre of attention in conversation and communication, and you've got the ability to be able to be the centre of attention, and you enjoy that. And you have the ability to lead, and you have a sunny disposition on life. Virgo on the cusp of the first house will see you being very practical and down to earth. It's an earth sign, and you'll be very service oriented. You'll have an attraction to domestic pets, and you'll also love the things of the earth. You'll be very diet and oriented and very exercise oriented. Libra on the cusp of the first house will see you as a lover of music. You love to seek harmony and balance around yourself, something that is difficult for you to achieve. And you love dealings with the general public. You like getting out and mixing with the general public, and you live for your partner. You love relationships and friendships and attachments and marriage. Now Scorpio on the cusp of the first house will see you as a very deep and introspective type of person, and you'll consider very carefully all the projects that you initiate. It's a fixed sign, so you're not about to rush into things, but you are very intense, and you will project your projects out there into the world with a tremendous amount of forethought, imagination and planning ability. And there'll be a tremendous amount of sexuality within your own nature as well. Sagittarius on the cusp of the first house will see you very goal-oriented, interested in sports, very adventurous, seeking travel, foreign travel, very sports-minded, and very frank, straightforward, and to the point. You call a spade a spade. And Capricorn on the cusp of the first house will see you being very practical and down to earth. You'll plan things very, very meticulously in order to commence your projects and ideas, and you'll be very thoughtful. You'll have good leadership qualities, and you'll gravitate towards positions of responsibility and authority. Aquarius on the cusp of the first house will see you always seeking to express your ingenuity and your feeling of difference and uniqueness. You'll have a highly developed intuition, and you'll be strongly attracted towards computers, electronics, aviation, transportation, communications, and you'll feel very different from everybody else. You'll ask yourself many times, why am I so different from everybody else? And you'll seek to always be initiating and starting things that are rather unique and new. And then Pisces on the cusp of the first house will see you very psychic, very sensitive, very spiritual in your nature, but you can have a negative side to your nature too. You can be escapist in your habit patterns, leaning toward drugs and alcohol, and you tend to be very reserved, and you like solitude, and you're not a forceful person, but you're very loving and affectionate in your nature. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at the sign Gemini as an example, going through all of the different houses of the horoscope, and that will give you an idea of another way that these signs on the cusp of the houses work. So Gemini on the cusp of the first house, I've already explained. It will bring a tremendous amount of duality in the nature, and having two irons in the fire at the same time, and a tremendous curiosity to the nature. Gemini on the cusp of the second house of finances will see you wanting to develop ideas in order to be able to make money. You'll want to have money coming in from two distinct separate sources, and you'll always be coming up with new ideas about ways of improving your sense of security in life. Gemini on the cusp of the third house of relatives and neighbours and transportation and communications with those close to you will see you using your hands quite a lot in conversation and communication. You'll have a lot of dealings with relatives and neighbours. Gemini is the third sign, so on the cusp of the third house it will feel very comfortable there, and so there'll be a lot of communication with relatives and neighbours, and a lot of experiences in life, a desire to be able to have your iron in a couple of different fires as far as transportation and communications are concerned. You're likely to have two cars in the family environment. Gemini on the cusp of the fourth house, the home environment and the family and the domestic side of life, will see a tremendous sense of duality there. In the family, perhaps twins in the family, maybe one of your parents was a twin. There's a lot of changes in residence there, a lot of variability and changeability and adaptability in the home environment. You'll perhaps live with relatives even after marriage. You'll have maybe relatives living with you. So there's a lot of changing circumstances and a lot of variety of experiences in the fourth house of the home environment. Gemini on the cusp of the fifth house will see you wanting a whole lot of variety of experiences in the social side of life and the sexual side of life. So you're likely to have two romantic attachments going at the one time. There'll be a lot of duality in your nature as far as the entertainment side and amusement side of life is concerned. Now, Gemini on the cusp of the sixth house will bring a duality into the job side of things. The sixth house is the house of the job and health and dietary matters. So you'll have a number of different interests as far as diet is concerned, a variety of experiences in the job, maybe two jobs going at the one time. So you'll have many changes in your job. You'll have a lot of potential for working with relatives and neighbours. and you'll have a job where you're perhaps travelling, a travelling salesperson or something like that, or a representative, and where you have a lot of communication involved, perhaps as a receptionist where you're meeting different people all the time. Gemini on the cusp of the 7th house of marriage and relationships will see perhaps 2 marriages, 2 relationships going at the one time perhaps, and there's a lot of interest in dealings with the general public, and you seem to have a sense of duality in your nature in the area of relationships, and perhaps you could even be involved in a relationship, in a partnership, for example, with a brother or a sister or a cousin or a relative of some description, or even a neighbour. And Gemini on the cusp of the 8th house will see a tremendous amount of duality in your nature in terms of the introspective side of your nature. So one side of yourself will realise that you have a lot of problems inside of yourself and you want to make adjustments and changes, but then there's another side of yourself that you project to your family and friends as being completely on top of it all. Gemini on the cusp of the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of travel, overseas travel and adult education. You'll certainly want to experience a whole variety of experiences in terms of travel and education. You'll be poking your nose into this project and this adult education and that adult education, but you won't have the persistence to follow through on things to conclusions. Gemini on the cusp of the 10th house, the career and business, will see you involved in a variety of different experiences as far as the career is concerned. Many changes in your career, many changes as far as business is concerned, and you'll be involved in communication in some way with the public in your career and in business, in the sales field or something like that, and you could be involved in with relatives and neighbours, perhaps in the job or in the career or in business together in some way. Gemini on the cusp of the 11th house will see you having a lot of changing friendships, a lot of group activities and club activities. It's the house of group activities and club activities, and that will see you having a lot of group activities and club activities with relatives and neighbours and those close to you. And Gemini on the cusp of the 12th house will see a lot of secret worries in life about relatives and neighbours, and a lot of intense introspection and reflection, and a lot of duality in your nature as far as your spirituality is concerned. So that's about all that I can fit into this video, and that just gives you a little bit of an idea of the way that these signs on the cusp of these houses provide a field of play whereby you are allowed to play in your reality to experiment, experience and express your consciousness, and to receive the results of that in terms of events and conditions in your life which are a direct reflection of those attitudes, beliefs, those thoughts and feelings and those decisions and choices that come from within yourself. And this is our field of play in terms of the signs on the cusp of these houses. And what I do for you in your horoscope is I tell you the signs that are on the cusp of each of your 12 houses, and I tell you what qualities and principles and values that you are using those events and conditions in these houses in order to develop within yourself. And it's very, very insightful. You'll get a deeper insight into the nature of astrology and the fact that it is a fantastic science. It helps you to understand yourself more. And most importantly, understanding the science of astrology will help you to understand that life is like a mirror, that what we have inside of ourselves projects itself outside into events and conditions in our life. So it's nice to have this opportunity to talk with you here, and I look forward to doing your horoscope for you if you want that horoscope done free of charge in the website, and then we'll see if we can help you to become more of the giant that you truly are. Thank you.